Let's go, let's grow, let's get.
How's it going? My name is Carlos V. Spencer. Thank you for joining us here yet again with another topic. And today we're going to dig into how do I know what love actually is? How do I know what love actually is? And I want to come to it with two different aspects. I believe you can know what love is by experiencing what love is, but I also believe that you can know what love is by experiencing what love is not. All right, let's jump into the first one. Love is experiencing what love is, and in that experiencing of what it is, that experience, you have to know what love is. Okay, so Carlos, how do I know what it is? The way you learn about most things is by finding out what the definition of that thing is. And when you understand what the definition of that thing is, you can recognize it when you actually see it. If there's something that you never knew about, if there's something that you never learned about, once you find out the definition of that thing, you can say, oh, I didn't know what this is. I'll give you an example. The word shrewd. So I used to hear that term thrown around at different times. You hear somebody, oh, this person is such a shrewd person, or they're such a shrewd business person. I didn't know what that word was for a long time until I took up the time, took it upon myself to look it up to see what it actually meant. To be shrewd is to be businesslike, is to take care of things, is to take care of something and make sure that it actually gets done. It is to not allow outside influences to stop you from getting something done. Isn't that interesting? I think a lot of people, when they hear the word shrewd, they just give it a negative connotation. They just automatically think that this word is just a negative word, maybe because it sounds negative, or maybe because it's been used negatively, and it could have been used that way by somebody who did not know what the meaning was. So if somebody's misrepresenting this word and you never take the time out to find out what the word actually means, how do you even know what it means? So, what is love? I challenge you to look up and see what the actual meaning of love is. And in this certain sense, I will go to my belief. I am a believer, I am a Christian, and the Bible says that God is love. So, you find out that God is love, you can look to see what God does. And when you see what God does, you can better understand what love actually is. You also see a definition that says love is patient. Love is kind. Love is long suffering. Love thinks more of others. Love thinks about others. There are many different things in that particular passage that gives you the definition of what love is. And you can say to yourself, if I'm experiencing these things from somebody else, then that's love. And if I'm experiencing some things that are contradicting those things, then this can't be love because it's not adding up to the definition, right? You can also say, if I am living according to these definitions, then I can be showing love. Love can be patient. Am I being patient with the one that I love? Is somebody willing to be patient with me? Now I'm experiencing love because I know the definition of love, so I can put it together with something. I've given myself a point of reference. If you don't have a point of reference for something, how do you know what this thing actually is if you've never seen it, if you've never experienced it, if you've never done it? When you give yourself that point of reference, now you know, oh, I have seen this before, therefore I can notice it and recognize it in different times in my life. All right, let me give you this low definition. I can't chase this. The part of the brain, the RAS, the rotary activator system, is the back of the brain that actually, it, I don't want to say monitors, it keeps a bunch of information from coming in too much at one time, information overload, like the RAS part of your brain. So when something is introduced to your brain now has a point of reference for that thing. Oh, this is good. And your brain can now point that thing out because it has a point of reference for it. And it didn't have a point of reference for it before. It doesn't mean that it didn't recognize it, but it does mean that it may not have paid much attention to it. You ever buy something and then now all of a sudden you see that something everywhere? You ever get a car or somebody in your family gets a car and now you're seeing that car everywhere that you actually look? The car is not showing up more. The car is being recognized more because it has a point of reference. You can be driving 80 miles per hour down the highway, 80 miles per hour. Some of you might be driving fast. You might say that's slow. You can be driving 80 miles per hour down the highway one way, and there could be 12 cars coming 80 miles per hour towards you the opposite way, and you can pick out two of the cars that are just like the car that you're driving without even really looking for it or paying attention to it, because that part of your brain has activated something within you to now recognize those things when they're coming and going, no matter how the speed and no matter where it's coming from or the direction, no matter what, you can actually recognize it. Do you see what I'm saying here? Once you've had a point of reference and you experience love because you know the definition of love, you can see love coming a mile away. You can experience love even if it's flashing by. You can experience what love is and understand that this is love because I know the definition of love. I know love that can be patient. I know love that can be kind. I know love that can be long suffering. When I know these definitions and I know that God is love and I see things that God does, I see the things that He does, then I understand that's love. Because it can't just be emotions. I will say that. Because if you get caught up in emotions and how you feel, what if you feel like something one day and you don't feel like something the next day? Love is butterflies in my stomach. You give me butterflies. Remember that song by Michael Jackson? Great song. But who's to say that that's love giving you butterflies, or maybe you just ate something bad last night? Maybe you just ate something that's disagreeing with your stomach. Maybe you're slightly frustrated or anxious or angry, and maybe that's the feeling in the pit of your gut. Love is not just based upon a feeling, but I'm not saying that love can make you feel a certain way, but the feeling cannot be the clear, only definition of love. You have to know what these things are. And sometimes love is a decision to decide to do the things that you know love is, even when you don't feel like doing those things. So you can experience love and know what love is by experience. You can know what love is by experiencing it. And by experiencing love, it can give you a greater understanding because you have a point of reference for it. But you can also know what love is because you've never had it or you haven't experienced it. And you can learn from things that are not the thing. Somebody, Jim Rohn, I love it. He says, somebody ruined their life. You can sit down with them and say, tell me how you did that so I know the things not to do. You can see somebody who's made the wrong decisions within their marriage, and you can sit down with them and they can tell you all the things that they did that were wrong, especially somebody who's learned themselves, and they can look at themselves in the mirror, not point everything at the other person and say, these are the things where I missed it. You can learn from that because that was an experience that wasn't adding up to what it should be. The dangerous thing is to go through an experience where you have not received it and to not allow that experience to teach you what it actually is. What is love? It's something that we continue to discover. It's something that we continue to find out. You can learn what love is by experiencing love, but you can also learn what love is if you have experienced what love is not. And once you get into a space of seeing what love is, you can look at the time that you went through something where love was not, and you can say, I have a point of reference for what love should not be, or what love does not feel like, and how love does not show up. So, therefore, this experience is showing me all the things that that experience did not show me. So now I'm also learning what love is. Hopefully, you grab something out of that information. My name is Carlos V. Spencer. Let's go. Let's grow. Let's get it.
Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's get it. Let's get